Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, and welcome back to Big 12 Insiders, man. Today, we got a really kind of an interesting topic for you guys today. I want to talk about this BYU-Utah situation. Let's just call it a situation where basically a lot of Utah fans are accusing BYU of cheating as far as tampering, and I'm here for it. I am 100% here for it. The reason that I am is because they're doing it, but so is everybody else. So let's talk about it, man. Let's get into the weeds on this one, and you all get in the comments and be kind of interactive with this thing, because you guys are going to know more than I'm going to know, but I'm going to give you my perspective on it, and we're going to figure this thing out, man. Have some fun with it today. So appreciate you guys being in here. Before we get started, as always, remember to like, follow, make sure you're subscribing if you already haven't. Get in the comments section, like I mentioned, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when the Big 12 Insiders, content comes out. So let's get into this. So there has been reports, and it's all over Twitter, as far as BYU tampering, cheating, and trying to steal Utah football players. It's out there all over the place. BYU denies it. Utah says, nope, that's what's happening. 3 players that got offered by BYU to get into the transfer portal. They end up staying at Utah. Again, all of this is allegedly. But here's my point of view on it. BYU's doing it. BYU is absolutely tampering. If you want to call it cheating, that's fine, because there are no rules, but they're absolutely doing it. But I also want to preface this by saying so is Utah, and so is everybody else. Everybody is tampering because, 1, there's no rules, and 2, there's no enforcement. There's no penalty. Even if you get caught, what's the penalty? Exactly. So that's my whole point with all of this is like, yeah, they're tampering, cheating, whatever you want to call it, but so are they, and so is everybody else. So what's the big deal at this point? I guess that's my point, is like, we're going to sit here and make a big deal about what BYU's doing. Okay, but you're doing it too, and so is everybody else. So to me, it's not that big of a deal. What I love about this is that BYU and Utah can't stand each other. To me, that's the greatness of it, is because y'all know I love chaos. I love chaos, and this has chaos written all over it. And they don't like each other. Hate is a strong word that I don't like using often. So I will let BYU and Utah fans decide if they hate one another. I'm not going to step into that fray. So I'll let you guys duke it out on whether you hate each other. But I know there's a strong dislike. With one thing that I do recognize is that, I would guess for the better part of a decade, maybe even a little bit longer, Utah had the upper hand, especially in football. They had the upper hand in this rivalry. And it wasn't necessarily all that close. Utah dominated them. The tides have shifted. Now, you could just say it's just 1 year. Come on, Big B. How's that enough to shift what we've dominated for over a decade? Okay, you're right. You're right. But it was 1 year. New conference. You are in this big-time conference now. And Utah, took a step back. There's no question about it. They took a step back. Even though the game was close, you still lost, and you lost a whole bunch of other games within the Big 12. You took a step back. BYU took a step forward. So they have that claim. I don't know if you want to say that the shift has actually happened, because, again, I'm the first person to tell you 1 year, it doesn't make a trend, okay? Because the exact opposite could come back. Utah could come back, beat the brakes off of BYU this year, and I'm going to say, hey, it was 1 year, man. 1 year BYU was better than them, but the trend is still going towards Utah's favor. So we have to recognize that. But, they had a better year this year. You talk about basketball, it's not even close, and to me, it looks like Utah is copying what BYU actually did. Hire a former assistant NBA coach, bring them into the fold, try to get our fortunes better as far as basketball is concerned. Now, Utah fans might be mad that I'm saying they're copying BYU, but don't be mad. Just do it. Do what they're doing, because here's the thing. What they're doing is working. It'd be one thing if it didn't work, but it is working. Now, you're going to have NIL to step up and do its thing, because that's what BYU is doing. Like NIL, look, we can dislike it. You can talk about it. You can say whatever you want, but it's here. It's real. And BYU is doing their thing to be as competitive as possible. Well, if they're doing that, Utah, you can't get left behind, and that's where we are right now. What are you going to do to catch up in basketball and stem the tide in football? Because like I mentioned, NIL is a real thing, and BYU has got it put together, and they are moving and shaking and saying, we're going to do what is required to be competitive. Now, you could say that maybe the NIL dries up one day and they decide they don't want to do it anymore. You could say that about every university. So you can't just bring up BYU, because I get it. It's mainly, or supposedly, it's only one big booster that's doing it. And if that's true, okay. And he could decide, don't want to do it anymore. You could say that about everybody, man. I don't want to do it anymore. I've done enough. You guys need to figure it out on your own. Where's the help? How come I can't get help? Yada, 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 whatever. I get that part. But as of right this second, that's what's happening. Utah's got to play the catch-up game. Now back to this cheating. Look, who cares? I'm quite frankly, who cares? Until there's rules in place, you can say, come on, Big B, that's not the spirit of things. You shouldn't endorse cheating. Put the rules out there and tell me not to break them. That's my thing. Okay? When there's rules, I won't break them. But until there's rules, I'm going to do everything that everybody else is doing until there are rules. Now, technically, you could say, well, you can't tamper. Well, okay, prove it. Everybody does it. Everybody, yes. Your squeaky clean program is tampering too. Everybody is doing it. And to just, have a blind eye to it is ridiculous. And here's the thing. It's okay. Like right now, you can get away with everything. So why not do it? The old adage, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Okay, fine. But technically, you're not even cheating, because there are no rules. Or better yet, even if there are rules, there's no enforcement of the rules. So if people are tampering and calling places or having agents call places or whatever, then that's what they're doing. Oh, by the way, players are also doing the tampering too. It's not just schools. Players, their representatives, whatever you want to call them, agents, whatever, they're reaching out. They're not even in the transfer portal. They're reaching out and saying, hey, if I get in the portal, how much can I get? Do you have a spot for me? Would you like me to come? That's happening too. So if it's going to go both ways, there's no enforcement, there are no rules, then tell me what BYU is doing. Tell me why it's wrong, I guess is a better question. You could say have some integrity, Big B. You're right. I could have some integrity. There's certain things that, in my opinion, that you can have integrity about, and other things that you can skate by. Having integrity to not cheat on your wife, that's integrity that you should have, not breaking the law. Have that type of integrity. Being competitive in college athletics when there are no rules, and calling kids and calling agents and trying to put out the best possible team that I can. If you want to say I have no integrity because I'm going to do that, then fine. Say it. I have no problems with that. Again, I'm not breaking any rules. There is no enforcement. And who's to say that they didn't call me first and I'm just calling them back? That's the part for me. That's the part for me. I get it. 100% get it that everybody maybe not built that way. 100% get that everybody may not want to do it that way. But here's what I would say, Utah fans. If you're not going to get in trouble and you can better your football team, you should start doing it even more, because you are doing it. You just need to do it more or do it better. Do it better. Call BYU. See what players you can get from them if you think BYU's taking your players. BYU's got some guys you guys can use. Call them. Do the same thing. Again, I love chaos. And the more chaos, the better. The more, the better when it comes to rivalries. So, like I said, you guys get in this comment section. You tell me what you think. You decide, look, again, whether it's cheating, integrity, the hatred. Again, I know about some hatred with schools that I root for and just despise the rival. Just despise. Like, you guys know, I'm a diehard Louisville fan. I despise the University of Kentucky. Everything about it. Everything about it. If the whole city burned to the ground, as long as nobody got hurt, I wouldn't mind. That's where my hatred goes for the University of Kentucky. So, Utah BYU fans, do you have that type of hatred? I don't know. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I appreciate it. The portal is here. The chaos is here. The accusations are here. I'm here for it. I love this rivalry. That's why I said when it moved into the Big 12, to me, it immediately became the biggest rivalry in the Big 12. Without question, without a doubt, this Utah-BYU rivalry. My late brother used to love just saying the Holy War. You know, I think it's the best, one of the best rivalries in college athletics. It is by far the best rivalry in the Big 12. By far. So, let me know what you guys think, man. Is it cheating? Is it not cheating? Does BYU need to take a step back? Does Utah just need to take a step up? Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys. Everybody have a good weekend, man. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.